Hey everybody, this is Doug with Legend of... Let's do that again. Hey everybody, this is Doug from L5RDestiny Cast. Destiny has no secrets. The L5R Legend of Five Rings podcast discussing everything going on in the community and in the land of Rakugan. As you notice, today I am solo for a little bit. My co-host is running a little late. So, before I get on discussing, or we might just know that at some point during this, we're gonna probably gonna take a really short break, and so I can bump him into here and get him into the conversation. But today we're discussing. First, we're gonna go over Gencon and do's and don'ts, things that are going on, things to be aware of, where to find things to be aware of, and after that, we're going to go ahead and discuss. We're going to go ahead and review the Price of War L5R fiction for the Lion Clan. So, um, first, some cast updates. So we have a couple things going on this week. I've finally finished editing and posting or editing the Crane card reviews. For all the card reviews. I'll be posting those tonight after I get done here. So look for those on YouTube. And if you're tuning into this after recording, then they should already be posted. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel for that. Also, I want to remind people about the email submission. Sell us your clan, basically. I know for a fact that we've gotten one submission for the Crane clan. We've gotten others. I don't know which clans those are for. Those are on Ginger Juice's email. You can either email L5RDestinyCast@gmail.com or GingerJesus at theonlygingerjesus@gmail.com to submit us your basically pitch for why people should think about your clan and playing your clan for the upcoming L5R LCG. So, and the final thing, I posted the episode 5's audio content to our SoundCloud, and then I realized it's just one of these things you run into. I realized that SoundCloud has a limit on how much content you could post on there on a free account. So, since at this point in time, I'm not really looking at monetizing or doing anything to fundraise, maybe later, but right now I want to keep everything on the cheap and free. I'm looking into some other solutions for syndicating the audio content. So before to look forward to changes in how we're distributing our audio content in the future. Just FYI, things may change, just in case you're following our audio content on SoundCloud or we're interested in doing that. So be wary that things may change. So we don't want to lose anybody following that. And so going on to our our topic for the evening, which is Gencon. I wanted to go over first some basic information. Just most people who are attending Gen Con probably already know a lot of this stuff. Some people may have not purchased their tickets yet. If you haven't, do so quickly because Gen Con is a big event, so it typically sells out. And I'm not sure actually of the current status of Gen Con in total, whether or not Gen Con tickets have been sold in total, but you may want to look into getting those tickets sooner rather than later and planning your event. So this is obviously the big event that we've been waiting for 2 years, and FFG has decided to have well, they're going to have one event for each day. I'll get into what those events are. But first, their inaugural event, which is going to be taking place on Thursday. Let me see here. I have the Gen Con opened up. Wrong one. Yeah, it's on Thursday at 12 p.m. And what that's going to be is going to be a big tournament. There was initially some sort of controversy, I guess, would be a word for it, over the tickets because the tickets sold out really quickly, and then there was apparently some people scalping them or some such things. They have since opened up seats that will go on sale 12 p.m. Central Time on this Sunday, the 11th. Yeah, 10th, 11th. So if you're wanting to get into the inaugural event, the big main event, or the other tournaments, I would definitely suggest you wake up early. Keep in mind the differences between your time zone and other time zones, and purchase or put your tickets online there. 1 second. Oh, there he is. One moment. Let me just get. Okay, give us 1 second. We'll be right back. All right. Let me put you into the thing.
Excellent.
Yeah. You just caught the beginning too.
Yeah, yeah.
So 1 second. Uh, Give me a second while I. OBS is a pain. Video capture. Okay. Where are you? Oh, let me call you real quick.
Okay.
Because apparently he's being a butt. One second, guys, on the stream. Sorry about this. I'm not a master of OBS yet. Hopefully a ring can come in.
Howdy, 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 howdy.
All right, now let me try adding you. Window capture device. One moment. There we go. All right. Let me just put you in here. All right, so we just started the show. I'm going to go back, like in the editing, I'm editing this little part out. So we're just going over the events, like what events are going on. So we're back. Sorry about
We are
that.
back.
And Ginger Jesus has now joined us for the conversation. We were just
Hello,
discussing.
everybody.
We just had gone over announcements, and we are talking about the main event for the inaugural event, which is starting 12 p.m. and it's going to officially kick off at 1 p.m. It's going to be a core only, so basically you're going to get your core set there on that event and construct they say 30 card minimum deck, so I'm assuming that it's to compensate for the fact that it's one core set, but that may be a typo. But anyway, you're going to build your decks, and then you're going to play in that tournament. And they've expanded seats once again for anybody that were still interested in trying to get tickets. And those are going on sale Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Time. So being wary of time zone differences. And which I think is really cool, honestly, that they've expanded the tickets, because this is, Gen Con's a big event. They only have a limited space. They have a lot of games going on. So keep in mind that these things are extremely difficult to organize, and be patient with the process, and try to just try to be promptly on time, and hopefully you'll get in. Hopefully everybody will get seated. So the events that are going on, other than the inaugural event, there is a event on Friday at 12 p.m., which is a tournament, and I believe that's also a single core only. Let me see here. First
I believe
round.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's one core set, and you will this one each player. Yeah, so the Friday and Saturday events, which are both single core set constructed, you have to bring your own. Um, you have to bring your own core set. Those are not the events that you will be supplied one. So that's something to be aware of. As it is, I imagine it's going to go on sale too at the booth. So you may want to be on time or early as possible to get in line to purchase your core sets. And they're going to hand out, I believe, 2 core sets at the booth, and one. So people will be able to get their 3rd core set by playing in the tournament, or if they are, not going to the tournament, they'll have 2. So there you go for those events.
Or
Hmm.
Or bring your wife with you to purchase cards as well.
Well, she plays, right? Or she ninja shopping for somebody in the house.
She'll be ninja shopping. She is interested in checking it out because she loves me, but I don't know if she wants to play it because she is a fan.
Yeah,
Much unlike your situation where your wife is an actual fan of this game.
yeah,
My wife does play a lot of board games, but not. She's not a card game person.
yeah. And for anybody out there, I just want to speak to people because I understand that the person was caught trying to scalp cards or tickets to the events. Also, like my personal view on it is that ninja shopping is fine because you're buying it basically for somebody else who couldn't be there, right? But like there are maybe people who will put people in line to scalp boxes basically, because they're not going to be initially released in stores, at least as far as we know. So just like FYI to anybody out there who's thinking about doing that, I understand you make a lot of money off of it, and that's an incentive, but please don't because there's a lot of people have invested in this time and energy and personal investment, and even though they're not entitled to that by any means, and it is a first come first serve. Just try to think about other people, and buy what you want, and or if somebody isn't there and you're basically their proxy, that's one thing I think. But there's a distinct difference between doing that and then pitching it on eBay for $180 or whatever that would go for. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a personal public plea, I guess, an open letter, as it were, to anybody who participates in that sort of behavior. Um,
It comes down to Wheaton's law, right?
Yeah, like to some people, yeah, like, but I can also see why people do that, even though it's, I
Yeah, it's
guess,
money.
yeah, it's money,
It comes down to pure greed. I'm gonna buy as many boxes as I can. The guy behind me can go fuck himself. That way I can go online and sell these for more money. It's greed.
yeah, yeah. I just think there's better ways to make money, and
Yeah.
I would hope that people, just overlook that for other, just do other people a favor, pass it on or
Here's
whatever.
here's what I do, and this is my hope for everybody else.
Hmm.
The best way to get back at these people who go to these places and purchase as much as they can, hoping to sell them on eBay, don't purchase it on eBay. Be the guy who waits a month.
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
the guy who waits 2 months. Buy it at a regular price. It's
Hmm.
okay.
That
You
actually,
know,
yeah, yeah,
let
actually.
if a guy wants to spend $300 trying to scout this stuff on eBay, you know what's hilarious?
Hmm.
Having him sit on it because everybody else goes, you know what? I'll just wait a couple months.
Yeah. I
That'd be fun.
That's actually a perfect segue into what I was going to discuss next, which was
Oh,
okay. So
oh, before you
expectation.
before you do,
Okay, go ahead.
before you do though, because you mentioned the tournaments, but when I was going through the other events happening at Gen Con, I did run across a panel where FFG is going to be discussing how they designed the game.
Hmm.
And I did sign up for that panel. I got a ticket for that panel.
Oh,
So I'm
awesome.
really looking forward to that. But other people out there who may be listening to this and going to Gen Con, if you didn't, it was kind of hidden in the list. It wasn't like right out there like the tournaments. It's kind
Hmm.
of folded under other stuff. So definitely take a look for that one
Yeah,
because I'm really looking forward to being at that panel and asking a lot of questions,
yeah,
assuming there's a question and answer period.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Like, that's actually kind of like conjoined with what I was going to discuss. Is like, about managing expectations and really trying to be flexible with your expectations about what you can and cannot get done. Because, okay,
Mhm.
let's assume that all tickets get sold out, you don't end up getting one, right, Ginger? When you go to Gen Con, there's like other lots of signed. I would sign up for as many of these side events that are free or maybe even relatively cheap, like $5, $10 sometimes,
Mhm. Yeah.
um, and plan just in case you can't, because they will try. They stated on their article that they will try to seat people, and that because people will show up just for their core set and they'll leave, and they'll try to seat people, and that does happen, or people just didn't show up because they just didn't show up for whatever reason. They're going to try to seat these people, right, or seat people in their place. They're going to try to fill those seats, right? So
Yeah.
uh, even if that falls through, show up for that by certain, like to try to get in and be patient and be prompt and early on time, so you can try to get in and be understanding if you don't, and be flexible with your time because there's a lot of other things that are going on at Gen Con. Even L5R related. There was a for people who there are into listening to podcasts and listening to other podcasts. There was a short podcast episode released about a week ago from this recording by the Emerald Inquisition. I think that's Emerald Inquisition podcast, and which they talked about. Board Game Geek apparently is going to be hosting something. I couldn't find the information exactly where they found that, but they're going to be doing some sort of casual event of some sort at their booth, so I would definitely look into that. And also looking for, there's speakers, there's other games. God forbid we should play other games. You know.
I Well, I mean, we homeschool. We use a lot of board games in our homeschooling, so
Hmm.
we're going for that. My wife and my kids are going for that purpose. They're going to find a lot of other games to play. My roommate plays Dice Masters. He's going for Dice Masters, and I mean, I'm going to purchase the cards when I get there. Even if I don't get into the tournament, I'm going to buy a couple of core sets, and I'm going to find the other players, and I'm going to play the game. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go to the Crab Clan dinner if I can find it and get an invite. I'm gonna go to the Scorpion Clan dinner if I can find it and get an invite. And I'm
Hmm.
going to enjoy myself to the best of my ability, even if I don't
Hmm.
get into the tournament.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna cry into my pillow that night. I
Yeah,
may.
there's certainly an emotional
I
expectation
may
there, right?
not. But it's
I don't think FFG
I
really
will.
understands the lightning in the bottle that they have obtained from AEG. I don't think AEG really understood, honestly, and I've been saying this for years. They don't really understand how awesome their product is, right? And they've kept this fan base in silence for 2 years, not knowing the state of what the game is going to be, and then it's only been in the last 2 months that we've really even begun to know anything. And now we're rabid fan, like we are rabid fans. We are,
Yeah.
um,
This is this is not a pleasant feeling I have in the pit of my stomach, knowing that I'm going to get up really early. We're on Pacific time here, and I'm not a morning person, so I have to get up early in the morning, pray my internet connection works,
yeah,
because it
just
gets spotty sometimes.
you'll be hitting F5 like a
Pray my
beast.
computer doesn't crash, because it does that as well. I
Yeah.
mean, the stress.
Yeah, it's going to be vicious. It's going to be vicious. But like I said, I mean, there will be people that filter out. We don't know how many, obviously. So you may be able to have a second chance to get into the event there. And I think the worst case scenario is them underestimating, because from my understanding of the way it works, is they fly the product in from, because they print it in like China or something, right?
Yeah.
And they fly the product in special for Gen Con, and that is a time process. They have to, put that order in ahead of time so those cards can be printed special for the event. So I'm really hoping that they really hit the mark here on how many of these box sets are going to sell, or how many they're going to be able to push, and because that would probably be the worst case scenario, is not going to Gen Con, with this being your primary thing, and not being able to get cards. That would probably be the biggest bummer, I would imagine. Like,
If I if I missed out on if I already missed out on the tournament to begin with, and
mhm,
then this Sunday I've got my second chance. If I miss out on my second chance for the tournament, and then if I show up to Gen Con
mhm,
and I wait in line with the other people hoping that there's a seat, and I miss that, and then I get to the vendor's room and I find out that they're out of cards,
yeah. Well, I think you hit,
I
yeah.
I think I may just throw my hands in the air and say fate says not to play this game and just go on with my life until it shows up at my local gaming store, at which point I'll go, well, nope, fate spoke otherwise. But there may be some screaming and yelling and some throwing of tables in the vendor's room,
Yeah,
Not by me, mind you. I'm a very, very calm person.
I,
But my child, on the other hand, who I'm pretty sure I could rile up, I could give her some candy and be like, that person over there who was trying to sell my card game, he said he doesn't like you. And then, like, she's 4, she'll bite.
yeah, I know one year. I know one year. One thing to be kind of aware of, and maybe do people do the research.
No.
I just kind of this came sprung to mind. I almost went to Gencon one year. I had purchased tickets and committed events and everything, and then something really big came up, and I ended up basically doing spending all that money for nothing. And but when I did, there was this thing called Very Important Gamer, right, which is like a VIP
Hmm.
pass and allows you into the vendor hall on Wednesday because I don't believe they
Hmm.
normally do that. And you were able to get access to stuff. So I don't know if they're selling the product on that day though. So that's something to basically maybe people should research or look into. I don't know about the whether or not if they already have a ticket they can upgrade into that. I don't even know if they have that program anymore. But that's something to also look into. And speaking of which, right? There's also like a ton, like I said, there's a ton of other stuff going on. To speak of the one things that you brought up where you couldn't find it, there a big thing about Gen Con is clan dinners, right? So clan dinners are going to be going on,
Oh, yeah.
and there's what they are is basically off-site people get together and basically eat and play games and do lots of fun events. I put a post on Facebook which I'll read about the clan dinners here in a minute, or I'll basically summarize about the clan dinners here in a minute. But there's one for each clan, and there's a villains dinner, which was kind of a nod to try to make it more inclusive, so you know if you didn't play that clan or whatever, because anyway, so like there's a villains dinner. There's a number of L5R dinners that are going on, and if you want to check those out, most of them do. You can go on to the FFG forum. So you go to Fantasy Flight Games, you click on Community, Living Card Games, Legend of the Five Rings, and in that forum there is a thread, the Gen Con 2017 Clan Dinners. I'll put the link for this for anybody listening to this down below, or if anybody just wants to be able to go right there, I'll put a link for it in the show notes for the video. But they have the links for all the people who are organizing it. There are one, two, three, four, five going on Thursday. So we have the the Mantis plus Scorpion dinner. Uh,
Oh, crap.
the
Is it Mantis and Scorpion at one dinner?
Yeah, I think they're organizing it as one dinner, right? So the uni
No, no, I want to enjoy myself.
these are people here
I
talking.
hate. Okay,
Dude,
if you are a fan, if you are a fan of the Mantis Clan, I want to apologize for. If you're a fan of the Mantis Clan, do me a favor, turn your volume down for the next 30 seconds, because otherwise you're going to want to punch me in the face. Because quite frankly, they are a clan of whiny little. They're founded by a whiny little bitch that wouldn't just accept that his little brother was a better samurai than him and go on with his life.
hashtag hate mail
And then
hashtag.com.
I don't care. The only ginger Jesus at gmail.com. Send me all the hate mail you want. I don't care. The Mantis Clan, I can't stand them. They're a bunch of little children who decide to put on their big boy pants and say, I want to be grown. You're not grown.
You just bitching because
Nobody
Error
likes.
Mouse you fucking wrecked your clan back in the day. Like as soon as he took over, he was just like, "Ah, I'm gonna burn the Scorpion. Oh, look at that. Oh, you're not so sneaky now, are you?"
No, I just.
I think it's
Oh, and
fine.
then they started incorporating all the minor clans I actually liked into them. So I was like, I like that minor clan. They're kind of cool. And then next thing you know, the minor clan's part of the Mantis. And I'm like, well, I'm happy you just gave up your identity.
They drink the juice, they drink the Kool-Aid, as it were,
Yeah.
the Mantis Kool-Aid. Well, look at for this. If you go to the Scorpion dinner, you'll be able to drink the same Kool-Aid as them.
Yeah. Yay.
Anyway, so who got the better one up on that one? That's all I'm saying. Unicorn is going on Thursday. Lion is going on Thursday, and Dragon and Crab are going on Thursday. Now, each one of
Okay.
these, most of these are RSVP, or you have to sort of register because they have to book space for people. A number of people, and which is because it's restaurants that these are held at. You can find the Facebook information and all the information on how to get into these dinners, and there's a number of them going on. I don't imagine that they're like with the LCG, they would be you have to play this clan. I mean, they might try to incentivize you to, but Friday we got the Crane dinner and the Phoenix dinner and the dinner for villains, which is the sort of like inclusive, everybody can come sort. Well, it's not a clan specific one. So
Yeah.
again, I'll put the links to that down below. And once again, if you want to send hate mail to Ginger Jesus, you'll find his email down below as well.
Yes. Also, in case he forgot to mention it, while I was on a date with my wife,
Oh, nice.
I'm still looking for the emails from people to sell your clan.
Yeah, I got
It's
one
still,
today.
oh, you got one?
Yeah, I
Which
got
clan did you get?
for Crane. It's for Crane.
Okay, good. Go ahead and forward that to me.
I will. I will. I will.
Thank you. So we
Um,
got a crane, we got a crab. I'm still looking for the other 5 clans. And if you are a crane or a crab player and you think you can write a better sell for your clan than the emails we already got,
mhm.
please feel free. Because quite frankly, the more people who send me a sales pitch for that clan, the more options I have to pick the best one.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
anyways, yeah, back
uh,
to what we were talking about, which is me
fi-
hating the Mantis clan.
Final thing about side events, I tried to contact the person who's in charge of it.
Hmm.
There's all right. So there's kind of a community awareness now about the demand, and I know in with Netrunner, right? Netrunner had the similar issue with Worlds the first time they moved because all right. So they used to do everything at Gencon, and then Gencon would get packed, so they moved it to they moved Worlds, their Worlds event, to their Fantasy Flight in Minnesota, which is in November, right? And the first year they did this,
Hmm.
there was kind of a similar fiasco where a bunch of people booked it, and a lot of people couldn't get in, and that sort of thing. So what a lot of people did because they'd already booked flights to go there, is they went and this guy Spags, he's in the Netrunner community, that's what he's known as. He's also plays L5R too, so we'll probably see him doing something similar. And in fact, I think he stated to you is they're going to be doing some sort of side event, right? There might be the big issue is space. They're trying to find a time and a space for it all. So if you're interested or you want to keep up to date to that, join the Discord is probably the easiest way. And also pay attention on the Reddit and Facebook community groups. There should be some sort of announcement if they get anything together. There's also if you want to help or like I said, the one biggest thing right now isn't necessarily prize support or anything like that. It's timing because there's a lot of things going on in Gen Con and space. So if you have any ideas, or you think you can help out with any of that kind of stuff, go ahead, join the Discord. You can find the Discord link on. I'm going to put the L5R Discord link in the show notes, and you can also find it on the Reddit if you can't find that or I don't do it for some reason. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the event roster here. We got the casual events, and there's going to be casual play too. I'm sure a ton of casual play and speaking things, and so there should be enough to do for everybody.
I'm going to build a deck the moment I have enough cards,
Yeah.
and I'm going to carry that deck with me.
Hmm.
And if you see me in a hallway,
Hmm.
feel free to say, I know you from YouTube. Do you want to play L5R?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to say, yes, give me 20 minutes.
I
Or something along those lines. Or if you see me in the hallway and say, you said something about my clan I hate, and I hate your face, I'm going to say, I bet you I'm a better player than you, and then we're going to play. And hopefully we'll be friends at the end of it.
after they
'Cause,
crush your dreams, because you realize a
what
lot.
dreams? What
You're,
dreams? I'm married. I don't have dreams anymore.
yeah, that's true. I just like
No,
as you say it forlornly.
like here's the thing. Every time I talk bad about another clan, I'm usually joking.
unless you're the spider.
I'm usually joking in a way, unless you're the spider or the mantis. I'm usually joking, and it's an effort to get someone else to go, I could prove you wrong. Really? All right, let's have some fun. And then we get to play a game, and it's great.
I think as long as honestly, I never mind it. I think it's a kick. That's like that's the kind of thing. I spoke about that before. The episode before I believe it was the episode, one of the episodes before you came on about clan loyalty, and basically it's okay to be, um, just a nudge and rib people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like honestly, don't take it to a personal level. So I always think it's funny, and plus it
No.
takes all the negative attention that I would receive for all my failings and pushes it on you. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our own issues, you and I.
I
Like,
know
I play Scorpion, and you play
the clan.
them.
You play Scorpion, and I play the clan that defeats Scorpion.
You wish.
No, I got wrecked by Scorpion back in the day. Breach of Etiquette has scarred my mind.
Yeah.
All right, so going
So
into
what a wonderful segue to the lion story.
well, I want to actually point out with the Facebook because I did mention Facebook, and there was two people that really offered some awesome advice, and then we'll go into the
Hmm.
Scorpion thing first. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you because I don't have my Facebook up here. All right,
You mean the
so
lion thing?
advice as far as Gen Con in general was mostly the focus of the responses, but Mark Artemage talked about the dinner for villains and some of the things they did there. They would typically invite AEG employees, and I believe that they said they would do the same thing. They said that the dinners were relaxed, entertaining. Sometimes they usually made a space for people to play and play cards and that sort of thing. So, and there were sometimes in the past there was like minor storyline things. We obviously don't know if FFG's going to do any of that, but you can expect at the dinners, um, for the most part, the good company and conversation about L5R. So I just wanted to thank him for posting a really thoughtful and insightful thing to the Facebook thread. And there was a number of responses about what to do during advice, just generally for going to cons. One of them was made by Mark Idimage again, was suggesting bookending your trip. So if you're going, bookending is basically getting there a day early and leaving a day late. So one, for a couple of reasons, so you can make sure that everything's squared away before you go to the con, right? If you have your rides and your gear and your decks and everything squared away. Two, or if there's a fiasco at the hotel or whatever. And
Right.
at the end of it, to relax, to kind of de-res from that sort of like 4 day like binge of gaming
It's
madness.
called con. Well, I do a lot of sci-fi cons. It's called con drop.
Yeah, the con drop. Yeah, exactly.
Con drop is terrible. You want to avoid con drop as much as possible. There is a rule called the 3-2-1 rule.
Hmm.
Uh, Sorry, yeah, 4-2-1 rule. Sorry.
Hmm.
If you observe the 4-2-1 rule, you're most likely going to get out of the convention alive. That is 4 hours of sleep, two
Hmm.
hot meals, one shower a day
Actually, somebody like quoted that precisely.
minimum.
Yeah.
It's the 4-2-1 rule. It's a very very simple con rule. Everybody needs to follow it. Somebody once referred to it as floor rule number 2, which is don't stink.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the love of everything that's holy, people, there's a shower in your hotel room.
Take a shower, people, and bring
Just
deodorant.
bring extra deodorant with you, maybe some wet wipes. We're gonna be crammed in there like cattle.
Yeah.
So just be polite.
Yeah. The last person in that vein talked about making sure you get enough sleep. They suggested taking maybe some vitamins or immune boosters, and eating healthy, drinking lots of water. There's a lot of people who said drink lots of water to keep because it's you're going to be in a cramped, hot environment with people, so you are going to be sweating, and that does take hydration out of you, so you don't want to go have a heat stroke or something. And also it does take fatigue. You'll be able to do more, right, during the con if you're taking care of your body during it, if you're kind of treating like your temple. I always kind of do that too with at cons and mostly for tournaments, but like for cons, definitely. I would suggest maybe bring some trail bars
Ooh.
with you, just some
See,
little protein or something like that throughout the day that you can snack on. It kind of keeps
this
you
is
going.
this is the first time I've ever gone to a convention without the extreme without the mission of getting as drunk as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because normally I go to science fiction conventions where I take a giant bottle of vodka and a
Hmm.
bottle of water, and I pour out the water, and then I just put the vodka into the water bottle, and I have a water bottle on me all day. I call it potato water.
Yeah.
It's
So,
great. I
yeah,
love con.
so Nathaniel Dean was the person who posted that, like about the eating normally healthy. I do want to add
Right.
on about your onto your drinking thing. It's like they expect drinking if you're of age and you're down with it. Do it. Just be safe. If you're driving a rental or something like that, maybe you should probably think about taking a taxi if you're somewhere other than the con location. Don't do anything illegal, or anything that would get in a fight with anybody, or I mean, just basically just be safe.
Just
There's a lot of people and a lot going on, and I imagine people are probably going to be there's accidents happen when you have like that many people crammed into a city at once, so.
oh yeah, yeah,
But yeah, thanks for Mark Artimage and Nathaniel Dean for commenting on those, and everybody else for that matter, for adding in their things. Just make sure you take care of your body, get sleep, shower, and have a good time and be safe. So, um,
and
yeah,
avoid energy drinks.
yeah. I definitely
Yeah.
found that like after I used to take energy drink, I actually take cup of coffee with me because for the like tournaments can be an endurance trial, for instance, almost like a con can. So like if you're in a tournament because you're going to be at a tournament at a con, make sure that you have that. If you're getting toward the end of the rounds, you're going 7 hours in a thinking game that you've learned and you're pretty much playing for the first time. Make sure that you have that sort of thing to give you some mental awareness so you can do better. That kind of pick me up because you don't want the worst thing in the world is to crash right in the middle of that too.
Oh
It's
man, no.
horrible. So just kind of keep yourself, take care of your body, make sure it's hydrating, and maybe have some emergency energy just in case you start feeling sluggish or whatever. But don't go crazy on it, I think is where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that covers pretty much everything for Gen Con.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think it's really awesome that they talked to Gen Con and got some seats opened up. Hopefully, people get in. Everybody that wants to get in. Obviously, that probably won't happen, but hopefully that.
I'm hoping I'm one of them.
Yeah. Yes, I do too. I would definitely want you to be there, like in the tournament. Oh, and final thing before we move on. Uh, if you're there in support of L5R, regardless of whether or not you're participating in the events, make Thursday, be there. I imagine they're probably going to do the Oots Bonsai at 1 o'clock. They probably do them every round, but they're probably going to have the big announcement, the big inaugural announcement at 1 o'clock. Try to be there a little early, and even if you're not participating in the tournament, participate in the Bonsai. It's been a long time coming. I know some people just don't like doing bonsais and whatever, they feel silly, but this is like captivating this energy, and somebody film it. I want to see it. I want to see how big the bonsai is this year, um,
I
because
will.
it's pretty special. It's pretty special.
I
So,
will film this. I'm going to be having some content for this podcast when I get back.
oh
In
yeah,
fact, I'm
yeah.
probably going to be calling you from Gen Con Friday night for our for our weekly podcast and talk about Gen Con for an
Yeah.
hour straight.
I'm still thinking of some
But that's
ideas.
something we can worry about then.
Yeah, I'm still thinking of some ideas of things I want to do in my local community or maybe online during Gen Con. So, and people I imagine will probably be doing the same thing. So, even if you're not going to Gen Con, check your local meta, make sure, or like raise the idea, like, hey, let's do this thing, XYZ thing. I
All
don't
right.
know what, but so let's go on. All right.
Yes, please, because I have some thoughts.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. I have some thoughts.
So we have a new we have a new fiction. It's the Lion
Yeah,
Clan
we do.
fiction, a The
We do.
Price of War by Mary Murdoch. Um, I'm assuming that that's a woman. I don't know. It's Mari. Could be Mari. I don't know.
I
But so it's set in a battlefield, the assault on Toshi Rembo, and well, in the first scene we see Akodo Totori waiting with a group of people that we recognize from the old game, Matsusuko, and Matsugohai and their soldiers waiting, very anticipated. And so what are your thoughts on this first? Well, first, let's start generally. What are your thoughts generally? I want to get your thoughts.
okay. Um, it was a story about war. Um,
Yeah, we expect
here's
that though.
here's my problem with the Lion Clan.
Oh no.
Um, this is my problem with the Lion Clan. This is my big problem with the Lion Clan.
Okay.
There is a radio personality who I adore. He does a show called The Prairie Home Companion on NPR called The Prairie Home. He did a show on NPR called The Prairie Home Companion, and on it one day he said that pumpkin pie was the poster child of American mediocrity.
Okay.
I.e., you think back to the best pumpkin pie you ever had in your life, you compare it to the stuff you buy in the store, what's the difference? There isn't much.
Yeah.
And that's how I think about Lion Clan sometimes. Like, the best Lion Clan deck I've ever seen and the Lion deck that some guy who just started playing threw together,
It's kind of meh, right? It's
yeah,
kind of like it is what it's. This is like just so
it,
generic
it is what it
L5R,
is.
you know.
It's a great place to start. It's a great
Yeah.
place to figure out the game, and the very few people have taken the Lion Clan to an art form. Those people have my respect because
Hmm.
they are not a complicated clan. If you can take a simple, basic premise and turn it into that art form, congratulations, sir. You have my respect. But generally speaking, if you're playing Lion Clan, I know exactly how you're playing. You're going to attack me. It's
Well,
going to be military victory. You're going to have some scouts.
mhm.
I'm not going to. I'm pretty much going to know what's in your deck 90% of the time
Is that the same
just by
way?
seeing that card hit the table saying your Lion Clan.
And do you feel that same way with the fiction generally? Like, is that what you're saying? Is basically, you know what to expect from the fiction, like generally
I knew
most of the time.
exactly. I knew that we were going to get a story set in war
Mm.
because every time there's a Lion Clan fiction that I remember reading, it's always set in a battle or a war. There was one story where it was a Lion Clan guy and a Crane Clan woman walking through the field, and it ended with him having to fight zombies that appeared out of nowhere. There's no. That's all they do. That's all they are. They're
Well,
so.
I'm gonna push back on this a little bit though. All right.
Please do.
I'm
You
gonna
you as our
push.
resident Lion player, I expected to have some flack.
I agree that there is a sort of generic quality, or has been in the past, right, in the fiction, and that kind of like we carry that into our reading. We have expectations. We want it to be better and everything like that. But we have to manage our expectations here because this is just the first fiction. One. So has to tell new players this is their shtick, right?
Yeah,
Why Lion R. And not only that, but it has to show us. It has to show all those old 5R players who love these characters why they should still love these characters. So it has to kind of have those similarities, and then it also has to have the distinct differences, right? Of why these big characters like Matsusuko and even the subtle, even though they may be subtle, right?
they
And
did.
it has to
They
cover
did.
all these other characters and give them in like a very short span of time. This is kind of a feeling, a representation of who this person is. And I
I
think,
really feel like they did a good introduction for those characters.
oh,
I will
that's,
give them that.
I think that's
The
absolutely
introduction
the
of
favorite part about it is the fact
those
that
introductions were amazing.
every single character in the story that had a line, right? Um, that had a
Oh,
line, that they presented to us for the first time, you understood who this person was, even without description. Like so,
even
like no exposition about who this person is. It's like by simple statement, go high laughs, and there's a little sentence about, oh, he's always doing this. And Kitsumoto's little curmudgeon, crap talking basically, like he's like like he always finding the problem with something, right?
Yeah,
Agatogi just being the gruff old dude. He's like this old samurai. He's like, well, she's acting not like that. Rah rah rah. He's kind of like Groucho Marx in the back, or something, right? Um,
yeah.
I think that right there is the subtle awesomeness about this fiction, and I'm not just talking about that in because Lion Clan is my clan. Honestly, I'm even more critical of the Lion Clan. There's a lot of things I don't like about this fiction, um, but I'm willing to give it a pass because it's the first time, and they did such a wonderful job with introducing us to these characters,
What
right off the bat.
what didn't you like?
I didn't
Because I
like.
know what I didn't like, and I'm about to go off on the kind of rant that gets people shut down. But I want your opinion first.
I'm really, really angry that they didn't do anything but lip service to Akoto Arasu. We didn't know anything really about that character in the old game. So in the old fiction, he was the same. He went down the same way. He was at the beginning of the pre-clan coup, and he died. And Tori, all we know is that he was there, and he was the champion, and Akoto Toturi did not want to be. I understand he's not a main character, right? But like they did Satsume the same way. In these little previews, they kind of made me believe or had the expectation that there was going to be maybe they would play a little bit more into it. Yeah, he would probably die, right? But
Mm.
it's like, okay, hi, I'm Makoto Arasu. I'm kind of a dumbass, and oh, there's a crane. I get shot in the face. I die. He's a red shirt. That's all he is, right? It pisses me off that they don't. This is the reason why like Lion
He's a
Clan has such a generic quality to it. It's because you just have
he's a
these characters that just get gacked for no fucking reason other than the fact that, oh well, lion are in battle, they have to die. No.
well, he's a plot device to. They see the thing is that we would never have a full description of Akoto Toturi without his opposite.
Yeah.
We needed that person in the story, but if he was in the story too long, that would detract from what Toturi could become,
Hmm.
or what we expected him to become. So I can understand the reason for putting him in the story, and I can even understand the reason for killing him in the first story. But I think I much like you just are insinuating, if not outright saying, I think I would have liked more information about him, something about his personality. Honestly, I don't
Hmm.
know anything about him because I didn't really
Yeah.
follow the Lion Clan much early in the story. I didn't even know who Toturi was until Toturi's army came out, at which point I started paying attention.
That brings me to my second gripe about this story, right? And this is a gripe that I kind of started realizing once I heard it on the podcast. I started another podcast, and I started really looking at it. I was like, wow, they're right. And so the first story had the same problem, and this one has that this one has, and it doesn't tell a new player shit, right? It really doesn't, right? It doesn't, like,
No.
nobody knows what an Ashigaru is. Nobody knows who, like, real. I mean, they can kind of insinuate what a clan champion, how powerful a clan champion is, but they don't really understand. Nobody understands what monastery life is. Now, I'm not saying that all these little details need to be covered, but they need to have some sort of what the fuck is Toshi Rambo? Why is it important? I mean, oh, there's grains of field and wheat. No, like there's a history there, right? Like,
Yeah.
or at least we assume that there is.
Maybe
Hey,
even a simple throwaway line like we're attacking Toshi Renbo again.
yeah, and I'm not blaming
You
the
know,
writer for this because I understand there's a lot, especially with FFG as opposed to AEG. There's a little less agency. There's a lot of heads that go into this. I just think that the way they're packaging it is like, hey, old 5R players, here's your game, and that really
it's like
like irritates
it's like
me.
fan service.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fan
like I
service.
don't mind it. I love L5R. I love reading stories about it, but I also want to be able to point somewhere for a new player that isn't in the old fiction because I
Hmm.
don't know if any of that's relevant still, and be able to go, hey, here's your need to know, and more than just look at the core sets rule book because I understand that they're going to put information in there, but that's also not going to tell us shit other than just like here, this is the Lion Clan. They attack people. This is the Crane Clan. They fuck people over in political courts. Here's the Scorpion. They're sneaky bastards. I mean that's
Yeah.
kind of what I expect out of the core book. I mean if they do better, that's awesome. But it doesn't tell you anything. It really doesn't. And I think the story is wonderfully written for what it needed to do because it did have to introduce us to characters and and make us like care about them a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially like the primary characters like Totore and Matsusuko in this. I
I
think,
liked I liked getting inside Toturi's head and experiencing the sense of unknowing
yeah.
that he had. I liked that.
Hmm.
Almost never do I ever remember reading Toturi doubting.
Yeah.
In the Scorpion Clan novel, there was a bit of that, but even then he was very self-assured. It was almost from an outside perspective, his story.
Hmm.
He was very he was very self-assured. You could tell there was some issues going on, but he seemed like a very strong, noble person.
Yeah.
And now you get to see a strong, noble person deal with his own self-doubt. I did enjoy that aspect of the story very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a
But
great. I think it was great to see. Honestly, like Kota Toturi, I kind of it was cool to be inside his head, right?
yeah,
I think it was like awesome what they did with what the writer did here with Matsusuko, because she starts off being as you would expect, your typical Matsu samurai, extremely brash, extremely bold, angry all the time, just wants to go fuck shit up, right? And then right in the middle of it, we get this drop, and all of a sudden her entire world's like shattered in 1 second, and after that, like I was like, holy crap, what's going on? What's going to go on with when she walks out of that tent in the second scene? I'm like, what's she going to go do?
hmm
Like what? I wanted to follow her. That to me says a lot, right, about the perspective that they're taking, and they did a wonderful job here with the primary characters as well as the secondary characters. I just wish there was more like one sentence expositions about things. Yeah, it would have been bad writing, but um, yeah, you need that kind of like
yeah.
because this is more than just the fiction. There's a game component here that people need to understand that helps with their involvement, right? So I just really wish that they had done that a little bit better. So that was kind of my.
So I'm going to go off on a little bit of a thing here.
Oh yeah, well,
This is now the second story where we've had Doji Hitoru in it,
yeah,
and this time it was her writing a letter. Fine, she wrote a letter. They're friends. They grew up together. They've kept that part of the story.
hmm
No problem. None whatsoever.
hmm
In the first story, we have her when she meets Kachika, who's also her friend. She drops her face. She becomes more personable.
yeah,
This time in the letter, he can see the faltering of the writing. She essentially, again, drops her face.
okay.
What's her political skill in her card? Like 5?
Oh, the relationship between the way she is in the story and her mechanics.
Yeah, so if your political skill as a stat in the card game is 5, which looks really bloody high,
Yeah.
you don't drop your face accidentally. That was intentional. Both times, either that number on that card is way too high because of her position and you just need it to be that high so the card game can look awesome,
hmm
or she does it deliberately. She goes out of her way to make her friends believe that she is dropping her face, that she is being vulnerable when she is not.
Okay.
So which one is it? Is she pretending? Is she feigning vulnerability, or is the card wrong?
Oh, that's a good question actually, and that I think that's a subtlety that honestly I
I
think
think it's a. I think she's feigning vulnerability.
I don't think
I
that's
think she's
something they would
using it.
do.
I think
That's
she.
like a little too like if this was a book or a novel, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's totally where they're going with it. But with the medium that they're presenting this in, and these little short clips and fictions where people don't have as much attention span, maybe, I don't think that they would do something like that. That's a little too like there's too much risk in
A
just
little bit.
in not.
A little bit too. A little bit too crane.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they are trying to do it. Maybe they'll just make a big, like reveal, like, ah, ha, ha, I was fucking with you all or whatever. But I, like I didn't. I got kind of annoyed a little bit by. I understood the like crying thing. Like that was interesting. Like I don't know why that she was crying, obviously, but I thought that was pretty interesting. A little note. In the middle of battle, she's has this resolve, and for some reason, because she understands she's killing. We learn later she's killing the brother of one of her friends, right?
Yeah,
So that was interesting, right? But
and
the letter
which
itself,
means which means she could have been afraid of killing her friendship
yeah,
as well.
I'm
I
a
mean,
little
that's a very,
no,
like,
yeah.
I mean, before you let that arrow fly, that's something to think about.
Mhm. I think I do think it's
But
interesting the fact that they have a difference because I don't think Doji Hattori in the original fiction was friends with Toturi, was he? With Akodo
yes, they
Toturi.
were.
Oh, were they
They were
friends?
friends. They were friends.
Yeah, I was like, that must be new. Like, um, but apparently not. Okay, so yeah, like I don't know. I'm a little miffed that we didn't have any screen time for anybody else, right? To see their involvement, maybe. Like, I want to. Like, where's Toshimoko? Like, where the fuck is Toshimoko? Where is what's his name? Kakita Yoshi,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Where is he?
Toshimoko got a throwaway line.
Well,
He was basically it was a pure fan service line. It's like, oh, don't forget to mention Toshimoko in the story, or the fans are going to be like, oh no.
yeah.
I
I think
if
that's what we
crap
expect out
they
of
better not
these.
mess up my Crab Clan story.
These initial fictions are going to basically be fan service. I think that's what we're kind of coming to expect. They don't really seem to be aimed at
Yeah,
any sort of necessary introduction. I think they're fine as far as basically telling us the setting, like this is where we are. And again, I want to say like I like what FFG's doing overall. Like if I
yeah,
nitpick or critique or bitch or use swearing language, um, I'm just purely doing it because I'm being a fanboy, right? Because I love the game and I love the story and I liked it. And there was things that I do feel a little passionately about, but not at the end of the day. It's not a big deal. I want to see
yeah.
more. That's what I'm saying.
Me too. Okay, the first 7 stories for the clan introductions. Yeah, that's all fan service. That's a thank you to the fans for sticking around and waiting. I'm very okay with that. I have no actual issue. I'd prefer it if they described what an Ashigara was, a little throwaway line. I'd prefer it if they gave us a few little things like that. I'd like it if they mentioned how something is or is not honorable every now and then, so people kind of have a basic idea.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, those stories are not for new players. So be it. We're going to have other stories that are for new players. This is a thank you to the old
Yeah.
fans, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm appreciative of it. Um, I'm
Yeah,
just
it's a good
really curious
story.
what they're going to do with the rest of them.
You're gonna make me hate the living crap out of Hatoru, though, man.
Oh, I have every right to hate Hotaru.
hmm Well,
Every right.
I don't. I
And
don't.
I am going to find every reason I can to hate her even more.
I just hope that
Because
they.
I'm a bad person, and I don't like the crane. Okay,
I.
anybody who's watching this and they'd say, hey, you, knock it off with the hating Hitoru. No, no, because she's fiction, she's not real, and I'm allowed to hate fake people. And she's Crane. Unless your name is Toshimoko or Daidoji, I hate you.
Yeah, at least until we get the fucking like Hida Kasada, That's one person I could
Oh,
like. I
yeah.
could just rather do. I fucking hate that character to a degree. Like
Well, you're not the only
I
one.
like I like the character. I just get tired of hearing about like Hida
I,
Kasada. It's like get over it. He died.
like, Kisada was never my guy, okay?
Yeah.
I never, Kisada, Kisada was the character that existed before the storyline, before
Mhm.
fans had input, before we had any ability to say anything about it, where the game was going. And when the game first came out, so many years ago, the Crab Clan had allied themselves with the Shadowlands for no good goddamn reason. And then we as crab players had to just kind of live with that until that storyline played itself out.
Yeah, I
At
really
which point,
feel they kind of
at which point,
sandbagged you guys like with the storyline there.
yeah. And
I
then, and then, as soon as that was over, we got Hideyakumo on the
mhm,
throne, and Hideyakumo. I mean, the next clan box out was you may not have any Shadowlands cards in your deck
at all.
at all. I'm like, yes, this is crab.
I do want to bring up one thing about like just one final critique. I really hope that they continue to put involvement. One of the things I want to like, because we've talked about a lot of things we don't like, right? And some of the things we like, but like one thing I really want to stress that I really, really, really do like.
I did not hear any of that.
One thing I want to stress that I really did like, right, about this story is the attention to characters other than Bayushi Kachiko or Doji Hotoru or these pet characters. I don't know if Hotoru is a pet character, but like I really didn't like that about the old storyline. Is there's these just pet characters that could do any fucking thing, and I got tired. My favorite character was a dude who got like zero storyline except for when he got killed by in the Burning Sands, like Matsugohai. That was my favorite character, right? I liked him because of a little fiction, and I really like
Okay,
the fact
one
that they.
second. I need to stop you.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, you there? Hello,
I hope so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
No.
Looks
You
like
can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Hello.
No.
All right. Good. So yeah, I could. There was a long period of time there where I could not hear you at all.
Hmm. Don't worry, it happens. It's streaming. I edit that stuff out. Still there? So, for the audience, I'm just going to keep going because I don't think we've really, me and him
Yeah,
have really covered. Um, one thing I really
that's
like
good.
about,
That's play the fan.
yeah, one thing I really like about this is the attention to other characters other than those spotlight line characters. I really like the fact that they really went in depth with Matsusuko and showed a different side of her other than just the raging samurai. I mean, even though she is that, there's this other portion of. Oh, we lost him. I'll call him back here in a second. Um, but generally, I like that. I like the fact that the old game I felt was. Let's call him back. We'll be right back, guys. There. Can you hear me
Hello
now?
again.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello? There? No, he's dropping. I'm going to drop him. Then we'll continue on. Hopefully we can get him back. If we can't, then I'll just message him and tell him, oh, well, he's messaging me. 1 second. I might just have to finish this off, wrap this up. I think we're at an hour long anyway. Okay. All right. So thanks for paying attention, guys. I just messaged him. I told him that we can edit. Now I'm going to edit the end for the final product. I'll probably edit the full version and repost it, so people who don't have to see it don't have to. All right. Oh, I don't want my Facebook up there. 1 second. Okay, so let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Um, get rid of that. All right, let me just go ahead and wrap this up. So, like, as said, there's some gripes and stuff, as we were both describing. There were some gripes and some issues with it, but overall, I think we both very much love the story. The fact that the story is coming back. We have little things, little details, expositions, that kind of stuff. Small gripes, even though we may get a little beardy about it, and certainly Ginger has his opinions, but. In the end, we both really love the fiction. I especially like the fiction. I like seeing my own clan here highlighted. I really like the internal struggle with Taturi. I really like the potential for internal struggle and more depth for Matsusuko. And I like the fact that this what I want to comment this author for is just really giving us a good picture of the personalities behind these little characters like Matsuko Hai, Kitsumotso, and so forth. And and David Latteroot did the same, or DJ Latteroot. The author of the previous fiction did the same thing too, and I kind of like started to notice that. Like, it's really excellent framing here. For those of you who are not like literary buffs, I'm not like a huge literary buff, but one of the things that's very hard to do is explain a character without like telling the audience. If you've ever seen, to use a reference, you ever seen Predators, the movie? If you haven't, watch it. It's a great movie. Very violent for those people who don't like violence. But in that movie, every single one of the characters is summed up right without ever having said a single word. I'm from here. I do this or anything like that. Right? You immediately know who the characters are just by looking at them. Right? And seeing one little scene with them. That's what kind of what I felt they did here. Overall, yeah, good fiction. Good fiction. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Lion Clan. So we're gonna go to the ending of our show here, and thank you for watching. Please like, join, subscribe, contact us in the notes below. Also, be aware if you are catching the end of this that our audio version of our podcast, if you like listening to our audio version, I'm figuring out a different way to syndicate our podcast, the audio version of our podcast online. So pay attention for changes in that, and continue to give us some emails on selling us your clan. Other than that, uh, this is Destiny Has No Secrets. I'm Doug, and you have a great day. Bye bye. And I'm just going to do a quick survey of dashboard. Okay.